Every business owner and entrepreneur can make money in a good economy, which is what we've had since 2010. Anybody who hasn't made money in the good old days will fail in this new declining economy in 2020, unless they listen to this episode and execute on some of these profit increasing tactics Ryan goes deep into. These tactics are enabling Ryan to expand through the declining economy to build his business, increase his profit, and you can do the same too. Show me the money on Wednesday. If you have a deal right now and you don't know the best way to structure it, if you post a deal in the community group on Facebook called Property Crash Course, Ryan will help you unlock hidden profits and save you from locking yourself into a loss on those bad deals that every property sourcer wants you to buy.
So welcome everybody to Show Me the Money. Now this episode is about some deal structures that I'm working on right now, and I'm going to walk you through a particular deal structure. It's quite different, it's quite unique. It's something that we've been doing more and more of since the coronavirus, during the pandemic, and before the coronavirus. To be absolutely honest, it's something that I had thought about, it's something that I had considered, but it's not actually something that I had put into practice, not until until the pandemic, until the coronavirus. So I'm just going to walk you through this deal structure that's working for us right now. So, you know, this is exactly what we're doing right now. We've had a lot of success from this, negotiating a lot of deals from this, reaching out to more people from this, expanding the network from this, and breaking into a different industry, which is the hotel industry, which is the boutique guest house industry, which is, very large properties industry, where, any of these buildings that we're working with right now, negotiating and, structuring joint ventures with, they're actually generating, they're not generating, they're actually accommodating up to about 70 people, up to about 70 guests. So compared to our usual apartments or apartment blocks, service accommodation, smaller properties, studios, 1 beds, 2 beds, 3 bed flats, 4 bed houses, 5, 6, all the way up to 8 bedroom houses, which is our usual usual deal structure. What I'm talking about with you guys right now is where we're breaking into much larger properties, much bigger properties. They're worth a lot more money. They're the entire blocks, the entire buildings. They're hotels, they're boutique hotels, they're guest houses, boutique guest houses. I'm talking about large properties that can accommodate up to 70 people. Some deals that we're working on right now, with the owners, or partnering with the owners, or even leasing the buildings, or some of the buildings back from the owners. Now, like I said, this is something that's just come to fruition during the coronavirus. Obviously, my company had to pivot. We had, dozens and dozens and dozens of properties all empty at the exact same time, which is around about, the 23rd of March. I was looking on my phone as it happens for a file, and the 29th of March, by that time, with it, 6 days from the 23rd lockdown, 29th of March, we'd been in the properties, recorded videos in every single property that we had, so we can do video viewings, send them out to people, send them out to guests, send them out to clients, send them out to companies, send them out to anybody who needed accommodation, which, to be totally honest, was a troubling, worrying, difficult, stressful time. I mean, I had to work as probably the hardest I've ever worked in that week, or for that month, to be fair, to make sure that I could plug the leak, while literally I was bleeding cash from everywhere. No bookings, all the bookings cancelled. I'm talking about my short-let portfolio. I'm talking about my service accommodation portfolio. I'm talking about the short stay portfolio, where we have guests from 1 night, 3 nights, 1 week, which is a typical client. Okay, so as the coronavirus happened, the pandemic, the lockdown, absolutely everything on that side of the business was completely empty and, bleeding cash every single day. So obviously we worked hard to get them filled, but this new opportunity came out of that on the back of that, because what I found was obviously everybody in service accommodation was struggling, or it came to a complete grinding halt. And on the back of that, we've made a lot of money. We've entered into new deals, new joint ventures, found new people to work with, new partners, new friends, new colleagues, new flats, new houses that we've taken on, some with joint ventures, some we've just, taken over because they were just empty. And my model of direct bookings and, having people book direct, key workers, essential workers, critical workers, construction workers, Southern Water workers, British Gas, Transco engineers, security guards. I mean, it's endless to the clients that we've now been working with, which has been probably 95% of our business all the way up until now, and it's the 31st of May. So those are the only people we've been working with. Now, what that has brought for my business is it's found new opportunities where, as you can imagine, hotels, what have hotels been doing? Nothing. They've been completely closed. Guest houses, what have they been doing? Nothing. They've been completely closed. Bed and breakfasts, they've been completely closed. I mean, we've had literally hotels, guest houses, bed and breakfast, boutique hotels, huge, large properties coming across my desk like every few days. Do you want to buy this? Do you want to lease this? Do you want to fill this? Can you fill this? Can you partner with them? Is there anything you can do? You got clients, can you put some of them in here, etc. All of these owners, hoteliers, guest house owners, B&B owners have been coming to me from agents and, people and partners that I work with and friends that I work with and colleagues saying, you're filling your properties. We know you're having success with, filling all of the service accommodation, because I've been taking their service accommodation properties from them. I've been doing deals with them, getting them at very, very good numbers, very, very low rates. But they're technically worthless during this pandemic unless you can fill them. There is no point even paying £1,000 a month for a flat or a house that used to rent for £3,000 a month if you haven't got a tenant for it, or the tenant you have got isn't paying the rent. So it's absolutely pointless unless you actually know what you're doing, unless you can actually fill it, unless you can actually make money from it right now. Otherwise it's completely pointless. So these aren't assets in their mind, they're actually liabilities. Now, the great thing is I enjoy that. Well, I don't enjoy them struggling. What I mean by that is I enjoy the fact that they see it as a liability, but because of, 20 years of experience and, finding the nuances, finding the angles, thinking differently, thinking outside the box, thinking laterally, we've managed to fill them, keep them filled all the way through the pandemic. I wouldn't say we've made more money now. We've obviously made more money because we've added stock, added properties, added investment opportunities to the portfolio, but we're paying less and they are renting for less. That's the brutal honest. And it's not been easy. It's been very difficult. It's been very stressful, but it's working, or it worked, and it is working and working, which is why we're adding more properties, which is why we're looking for more deals, which is why we're getting referred more and more deals every single week. So we found those angles, we found those nuances, and they're working. So this particular deal structure is hotels. We're having hoteliers, guest house owners, bed and breakfast owners, large commercial property owners. I mean, big holiday homes that can accommodate like 10, 15, 20 people, big guest houses, some hotels that can accommodate 70 people, 70 guests. And these owners have come to me and said, look, I've got this building, I've got this property, I've got zero money coming in, can you help me? So what I've put together, this structure, which really does work right now, is, as you can imagine, in the low season, most hotels, guest houses, they maybe break even during the low season, with the view that in the summer is where they thrive. April, May, June, July, August, all the way through September. Excuse me, and maybe a little spike in December as well. That's what we've always found, okay? So they know that that is their market. They know that that's where they make the most amount of money. And they know that all they need to do is get through the winter, get through the low season, cut the fat, keep the costs down. The occupancy is very, very low. I'm just opening a drink here while I'm driving. Don't worry, it's not alcohol. It's actually Pellegrino, the Italian sparkling drinks. Blood orange, this one is. So just bear with me 1 second. Let me ask you a question. Are you and your family prepared for when the economy crashes and your bank balance goes to zero? In the aftermath of the 2008 property crash, I held a keynote talk in Piccadilly around property investment tactics that work when the economy crashes. And these tactics saved me in the 2008 crash. Let me share them with you real quickly. The first one is buying properties for £1 without getting a mortgage, without putting a deposit down, and without any credit whatsoever. The next strategy is finding properties with £25,000 to £50,000 of instant equity. The next strategy is buying a property today and paying for the property later when it's worth more, a lot more in the future. The next strategy is renting HMOs and student properties and any properties up to 75% below the market rent. This gives you massive cash flow right now. And then the next strategy is raising from £4,000 to £14,000 from properties that you just rent. This can be used as get started cash for whatever you want in your business. Now, I created a free training to walk you through the only strategies that will save your bank balance from going to zero. I'm serious. If you just go to www.propertycrashcourse.com and tell me where to send this free training. So these owners have come to me saying they was expecting the summer. The summer's been cancelled because of what's happened, the pandemic, the coronavirus. The occupancy is dead. And when it does come back from July the 4th, there's going to be constraints, there's going to be restrictions. They can't open their restaurants, they can't really do breakfast unless they have everyone 2 meters apart. It's a logistical nightmare. It's a massive loss. They've written this season off, basically. So they've come to me and they've said, look, we got through the winter, just about to get started. March, this happens. This season's written off. Now we're facing another even bleaker winter. The winter's going to be even bleaker than last year. So what can we do together? Now, what I'm structuring is different things with different hotels, different guest houses, only because they've all got different needs. Now, what I would prefer is just to lease the entire building, the entire guest house, the entire boutique hotel, the entire massive commercial property. That would take 70 people. I would rather just lease the whole thing because I know my model, I know what's working, I know how to fill them during the low season, and I know exactly what needs to be done, okay? We've been doing it in 6 different cities since 2016, this particular model, and it works. So that's what I would prefer, to lease the entire building. Especially now when they've got zero income coming in, they're more, susceptible to, a mutually beneficial deal. I'm not talking about ripping them off and paying them something that is, unsustainable, which doesn't even cover their bills. That wouldn't work, or that would, run out very fast. I'm talking about a mutually beneficial deal. Numbers have to work for them. Numbers have to work for me, so there's a margin, so I can obviously make money as well, because nobody wants to work through the winter for free, especially even through the summer for free. Nobody wants to work for free. So that's what I would prefer, leasing the entire building. One of them I have on the, working with right now, which had a different hotel chain, a different booking company, a different agency which leased the rooms from them and then filled the rooms and paid them some kind of commission structure. That company has fallen apart. That company has basically gone, to shit. That company is now fucked. Because that company is now fucked, which isn't the hotel, it's a separate company which leases back hotels and fills the rooms. They have not paid their guaranteed rents. They have not paid their lease premiums. They have not kept to their contract. They just don't give a fuck because right now they can't afford it and they're bleeding cash everywhere. Every single one of their hotels in every single part of the world at the exact same time, more or less, give or take a week or so, is closed. No revenue coming in, and they still have rent, still have lease premiums, still have costs going out every single month. So they've run out of money. They've burnt cash. They're finished. It's not a good thing that they've finished, but it's brought an opportunity where the people are now coming to me, coming to my company, saying, these guys are gone. Can you basically replace them? Can you give me what they were supposed to give me? Or can we do a better deal, a new deal? So what I'm looking at and what I'm doing right now is I'm leasing some rooms from hotels, from guest houses, from B&Bs, from boutique hotels, okay, boutique guest houses. I'm leasing some rooms on 28-day terms. So basically I'm leasing rooms at a fixed price for the whole month. Some they're doing the linen, some my team is doing the linen, okay? We're administering everything in between. Now, obviously, it makes no difference to me or my company if I'm leasing a studio, if I'm leasing a 1-bedroom flat, if I'm leasing a 2-bedroom flat, a 3-bedroom house, an 8-bedroom HMO, or a boutique hotel that takes 70 guests. It makes no difference to me whatever I'm leasing. If it makes money, it makes money. If we know how to fill it, we know how to fill it, okay? So I'm leasing rooms and I'm paying a fixed rate to the hotel or the boutique or the guest house or the B&B for that particular room. Now, the same strategy, the same tactic, the same responsibility as guaranteed rent. If it sits empty, I still pay it. If it's at 100% occupancy, I still pay the set rate. If I'm paying, say, £1,000 a month to them, and I'm getting £1,750 a month, the £750 is my net. That's my profit, gross profit. If I'm paying £500 a month for a room and I'm renting it for £1,000, that £500 on that one room is my profit. Now, of course, we have to fill it. Of course, we have to do all the hard work. Of course, we've got to keep it filled. Of course, we've got to look after the guests. Of course, somebody has to do the linen. Some we're negotiating that they do it. Some we're getting or we're paying a higher rate and they do it. Some we pay a lower rate for the room, just like no frills, just the room, and we do it. So it varies, okay? And then we have some joint ventures. Some joint ventures where we're working with a big guest house right now, or a big building right now that has a lot of rooms. It accommodates a lot of people. The building's worth around about 6.5 million. And the deal that we're putting together right now is they live for the weekends. They know that the weekends is where their bread and butter is. So what they're looking to do is not go through another low season, the winter I mean, where they're at best breaking even on the weekdays. I'm talking Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. At best, they used to break even. Now they know they're going to be making a loss. So their operational costs are going to cost more than what it would cost. Basically, it will cost more to be open in the weekdays than it would to be closed. This is a position that some hotels are in, some guest houses are in, some B&Bs. This is the reality of where they are now. Because they know their numbers, they know what happened last season, they know they didn't even get the summer, they know what this low season is going to be like.
Make sure you've subscribed, because tomorrow you'll get problems, challenges, and opportunities on Thursday. Every Thursday, Ryan takes you deep inside his business, sharing his problems, walks you through his challenges, talks about the opportunities that you only find once you've broken through the wall. That's the secret that every entrepreneur discovers, because the biggest problem in your business today usually becomes your greatest opportunity and asset tomorrow.
That's where the opportunities are found, because I'm doing deals with these guys, negotiating deals with these guys, where my company will lease Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday checkout. Check-in Monday, checkout Friday. That's 4 nights, 5 days. My company will lease the entire building for those days to fill their voids. Now, as you can imagine what I just said, they would rather close than open, because they know their operational costs, if they opened, are more than what it would cost if they stayed closed. And they're now just relying on building up the weekend business. But my company, because we have Monday to Friday workers, Monday to Friday key workers, Monday to Friday contractors, Monday to Friday emergency workers, critical workers. We have language students. We have, even holiday makers, people on short-term contracts, people that work in the city during the week and go home on the weekends. So that fits perfectly, or my model fits perfectly, or it dovetails into their business, where I can get these hotels, the entire building, for less than a couple of £100 a night. It's unimaginable. Less than a couple of £100 a night for the entire building, and this particular building can accommodate 35 guests. Less than a couple of £100 a night, okay? That's what we're working with right now for Monday night, Tuesday night, Wednesday night, Thursday night, checkout Friday. So my model is lease these rooms, or lease the entire building for as long as possible. Do what my company does best, which is keep those rooms filled. Now, we know our risk is mitigated because we can obviously do the work ourselves. We can, get my team, housekeepers, etc., manage the bookings. We've already got the infrastructure, whether it's an apartment, whether it's a house, whether it's rooms in a HMO that we've got, and we've got dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens of those professional rooms, dozens of students' rooms, etc. So we're just plugging their building in to our existing model. Now, the difference here is you might be thinking, how can I make money and they don't make money? In the hotel business, as you can imagine, if they even pay £50 for a night, okay, which is good money and reasonable in this particular city during the low season, it would probably cost in the region of about £15 to £20 for linen and cleaning on that room. So that 50 quickly goes down to 30. From that 30, there's other operational costs. There's damage, there's admin, there's everything else. So it might only make, £20, if that, or generate £20 gross. Sorry, after the deductions, not gross. So do they really want to open for £20? When you look at £20, then look at 10 rooms, that's £200 for the night, okay? Now that's around about what they've offered it to us at, £200, which is more than they would get if they opened, and they've got to run a whole team, they've got to run the bookings, they've got to run the admin, someone's got to check them in, someone's got to check them out, they've got admin costs, they've got booking fees on the booking platforms, which are more or less closed or non-existent, they've got cleaning costs, they've got housekeeping costs, they have linen costs, cleaning, absolutely everything else. So that's how my offer, at around about £200 for a night for the entire building, which has got a kitchen, people can dine downstairs if, that was dying, not die. They can dine downstairs if the government opens that back up. And my model, my strategy is get people in for 2, 3, 4 nights at a time and just completely forget the one-nighters. There's no money in the one-nighters. So as long as, because the cleaning, the linens, the changeovers and the admin, so as long as we can, which I'm confident that we can, and what is already working in my other buildings, as long as I can get people in for 2, 3, 4 nights and block them out every single month, across the course of the month, they come on Mondays, they leave on Fridays. Come on Monday, leave on Thursday. Come on Tuesday, leave on Friday. Come on Monday, leave on Wednesday. As long as I can do that and keep the occupancy up, then there's very good money to be made in leasing these entire hotels. That's during the week, that's even all weekend, 7 days a week. Like I said, some are just leasing rooms to us 7 days a week. Some are leasing the entire building to us 7 days a week. Some are leasing the building to us, but only on Mondays to Friday. Check in Monday, check out Friday. So you have different deals with different providers. Some are even offering to just joint venture with us. So just joint venture to fill their rooms, and obviously we just get a fee instead. I don't like that. I would rather just lease the room. They get a certain amount of money, lease as many rooms as we can in the building, if not the whole building, and everything we make on top, we work harder, they get what they're happy with, and we get the difference, okay? Now, that's one particular strategy, guys, that's working right now in the pandemic. We're only in May, and as you can imagine, or you're probably thinking, it's illegal to travel. That's correct. Guests cannot just stay out of their house for one night or overnight at the moment. It is illegal for holidaymakers. Hotels, where the difference is and the angle is, all they're thinking about is holidaymakers. All they're thinking about is guests. All they're thinking about is people traveling, and it's illegal, so they can't even open. So when I come along with my offer that we have key workers, we have contractors, we have builders, we have Southern Water workers, we have security guards, we have, anyone who's a key worker or critical worker that's allowed to work right now, that's in the city on business, working, wherever they are, those are our clients. Those are the holy grail right now, and that's all we've really done, or 95% of what we've done since the 23rd of March. So when I come along with this offer to a hotel that has no guests, they can't have any guests at all until at the earliest, early mid-July, which may be put back, and then there's restrictions, and then people are nervous, and then they don't really want to travel, and then they're at 30% occupancy. So this offer I'm giving them right now is worth a lot more than what they could do on their own. And that's just by amalgamating two markets, which I'm very good at. We take properties out of the AST market, put them into the hotel market. That turns £1,000 of rent in the AST market into £3,000 of revenue in the hotel market. Now that model is upside down, it's not really working. So we're doing something backwards. We're taking hotels out of the hotel market, we're putting them into the corporate letting market, those rooms. Taking a hotel, reversing or switching the strategy that we normally do, and turning it into a corporate letting strategy, okay? Where we don't have guests, we have permitted workers, we have key workers, we have contractors, we have anybody who's allowed to work right now, which is what the hotels aren't thinking about. So we're taking one model and backing it up and reversing it into another model that we have, which works right now, guys. So I hope you got some value from this episode. I would love to hear your thoughts. He's a #1 Amazon bestseller. He's an NLP manipulator. He's a property course seller. He's a Lamborghini driving multi-millionaire property guru. Forget that same old boring I am me narcissistic podcast format, because nobody gives a fuck. This podcast is all about you. So I'm taking these few seconds to thank you for subscribing, to thank you for leaving your 5-star reviews, and thank you for sharing this show with all of your friends. My team and I will keep bringing you these episodes and answering all of your burning questions in my Facebook community group called Property Crash Course. If you can just keep telling all of your friends about this show.